Hey guys, so welcome to the first of our mini challenges, day one mini challenge. And it's a really, really simple exercise that I want to invite you to. And I specifically use that term invite because that's how I want you to look at everything that we're going to be guiding you through over the course of the next 7 days. They're simply invitations. Now, don't put yourself under any form of stress or build up any form of anxiety about what you feel you should or you shouldn't be doing. That is certainly not the purpose of this challenge. And in fact, what you'll find is that the more pressure you put yourself under, the less you'll enjoy it. The less you enjoy it, the less you'll take part. The less you take part, the less of a result you'll get, right? So essentially, you are invited to take part in this mini challenge. You are invited to take part as fully or as little as you'd like. Okay, so you get to make the decision. So this very first exercise is, how will my life be different when I'm? Okay, so you get to fill in the words there. So kind of, I know there are some people in the group that have body image and kind of body confidence issues around their weight, as in they feel maybe they're too heavy. And so maybe one of the things that they say to themselves is when I'm lighter, or when I weigh X pounds, or when I'm whatever, right? And I don't want to tune in too much to whatever the specific thing is, but obviously this is language that you're already using around yourself anyway. So it's a good place to meet you in if you feel that you're too let's say on the thin side, and you said, well, life would be, my life will be so much different when I'm X size or when I'm X weight, then that's true for you as well. And if it's got nothing to do with the size, or it's got nothing to do with the weight, and it's got something to do with something else, then fill in the blanks, right? So the main point here is I'm trying not to feed you what the specific thing is going to be. This is about you. This is about your journey. And this is about, we all say these various things like, my life will be so much different when I'm secure in my job. My life will be so much different when the kids grow up. My life will be so much different when I've got enough money, when I weigh a certain weight, when I'm a certain size, when I reach a certain strength, once I've published that book, whatever it happens to be, right? So we've got all of these stories about how our life is going to be different. So this first exercise is really just about identifying that and putting it out there, like kind of being clear about what it is that we're actually saying to ourselves, because that's really what this self-talk detox is really about. It's about, first off, identifying the language that you're using around your life and around various areas of your life, and then taking some kind of action around that, or at least having an invitation to take action around that if you feel it serves you. So let's take a look at this, right? So down the left-hand panel here, we've got the area of life, so the physical area, the mental, the emotional, the relational, and then the spiritual, right? And again, once more, I just want to be really clear. You are invited to any and all of these. I personally feel that the clients that I work with get the best results when they actually dig in and they give answers to all of these realms. But if giving answers to all of the realms pushes you into threat, if it kind of if it overwhelms you and it makes you not want to do any of it, then pick an area that you feel is important. Just start where you feel good. Okay, and that's the rule for all of these challenges. Really, just start where you feel good. So let's kind of work through the categories now. So if we look at physical, right? So let's, for argument's sake, say that you've used weight as one of your life will be different. My life will be different when I'm 30 pounds lighter than I am today. All right, let's use that as an example. A very typical one for a lot of people. So kind of we hear ourselves say things like, I'd do more of. What do you say that you'd do more of if you were 30 pounds lighter in this particular instance? What would you be saying to yourself? Or insert your version of, kind of whatever your goal is. What are you saying that you'd do more of physically? What would you engage more in? What would you take part in more with your body? Would it be that you'd go out walking more, you'd go cycling more, you'd take more active holidays, you'd play sports with your kids, you'd play frisbee in the park with your kids? What would it be? What are the things that, when you really think about it, that you have told yourself in the past and that you kind of are even telling yourself now, I'd do more of that if only I was lighter, heavier, bigger, smaller, whatever your code word is, so to speak. Next panel is, I'd do less of. What would you do less of? So, kind of, it might be, I'd do less of sitting around on the couch, or staying at home, or hiding my body, or complaining about my aches and pains, or any number of things. But what would it be? What would be the things that you would do less of, right? And then what I'd like you to do is, and this is just an invitation, this is a could invitation, this is not a must. Identify out of your list of things that you do more of and things that you do less of, and identify at least one tiny step you could take today to do either more of or less of something. I mean, you can fill out these boxes with as many things that you do more of, as many things that you do less of in these panels. And where I've invited you to put in one tiny step you could take, maybe you'll create 10 tiny steps you could take. Remember, the key word here, though, is could. You're not being asked to take 10 steps. You're not being asked to create action across kind of every realm of your life today. It's just one tiny step that you could take. Okay, now let's scroll down mentally. Kind of, I do more of what mentally? If I was at my let's use weight again for a second. If I was at my target weight, if I was 30 pounds lighter, I'd do more of this mentally, and I'd do less of this. Well, maybe I'd do more. I'd read more. I'd challenge more. I'd get out. I'd take up a course that I always wanted to do. Maybe I'd just find myself speaking more positively about myself and other people. Maybe what would I do less? Maybe less of that kind of internal gnawing over and kind of giving myself a hard time for how I'm kind of looking and how I'm showing up in the world, and so on and so forth, right? Emotionally, kind of, I do more what emotionally. Maybe for some people it would be expressed more freely. For some people, maybe it'd be that they'd express more of their emotions, because some of us get caught up in little loops of expressing only one or two of our emotions, like our anger and our frustration, but maybe we're not showing up fully as our caring and loving and kind and kind of connected selves and all that side of stuff, right? I think you get the point here. Relationally, like what would you be doing more of relationally? Like, let's come back to the person who's interested in losing that 30 pounds, right? Well, relationally, I'd have better connection with my husband, with my wife, with my kids. Well, in this case, with your partner, right? So I would have this level of relationship. I would, excuse me, maybe I'd be engaging in a lot more sexual activity. Maybe I'd be a lot more physically expressive. Maybe I'd stop and kiss in the street and more public displays of affection and so on and so forth. What would it be for you? And then if you want to tackle the spiritual area, what would that be? So maybe it would be things like I would meditate more, I would create more time for this, I would go to church more, to synagogue, go to temple. Maybe I'd kind of extend myself kind of out into my community a little bit more and take a more active legacy, purpose-based role, whatever it happens to be, right? So I don't want to give you too many of my ideas, because I want these to come from you, and I don't want you to start measuring what maybe you could or should do against any idea that I put out here. So it's just the main thing here is that there's no right or wrong. And you might say, well, is that a physical thing, or is that a mental thing, or is that an emotional thing, or is that a spiritual thing? I don't know which box it goes in. Do you know what? It really doesn't care which box you put it in. I really don't care what box you put it in. It really doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you've got some things for as many of these areas as you possibly can, even if it's just one truth for each area. I would do more of this. I would do less of this. One tiny step I could take today would be this. And then right at the end, there's a final column there, okay? And that column says, I did or didn't do it because. And this is a really, really important column. And I just want to get clear on something. This is not a pressure column. This isn't okay, I really should have done it. So one of the things that I talk about all the time as a coach is getting caught up. People get caught up in their drama. They get caught up in their story. Oh my God, I'm doing this challenge with Dax and Leanne. I've done this thing, and here's me on the very first day, and I haven't taken any action, and I haven't done these things. That's not important. Whether you do or you don't take the action is not important. What's important is that we get the data and not the drama. So here's the difference between data and drama. Oh my God, Dax and Leanne have gone to so much trouble to create this challenge, and here's me on day one. I've done nothing with it. I haven't even taken a single step. That is drama. Data is, okay, I didn't take any action today because was my reason that I'm giving myself for why I did it. And you know what? You don't even have to worry about whether it comes across to you at the moment as a bullshit reason. Okay, excuse my French, but it doesn't matter whether right now it's coming across as a bullshit reason. What matters is that you log the reason. So I did it because, right? I did it because actually, after reading this several times today, it really inspired me and it made me want to take some action. It made me want to have that conversation with my partner. It made me want to go for a walk. It made me want to read that book or get that early night or have that bath or whatever it was, right? Have the bubble bath. Or I didn't do it because actually it brought up a whole bunch of other things for me, or maybe you say it was time, maybe it was any number of other things. I don't really care what your answer is. I care that you answer. Okay? So listen to that again. That's a really important phrase. And I think you're going to hear this a lot throughout this next 7 days. I don't care what your answer is. I care that you answer. And I also don't care how many answers you give. You don't have to fill in every one of these boxes. I invite you to, because I think you would get a much better result at the end of 7 days. But that's just an invitation. And just like if I invited you around my house for dinner and you said, no, Dax, I'm fine this evening, I'm doing stuff with my family, I wouldn't be pissed at you. I wouldn't be upset. I'd just say, okay, I invited, you said no, and that's it. And it's exactly the same with these challenges that Leanne and I will be putting out over the next 7 days. Okay, so hopefully you understand the exercise. Hopefully, I don't want to kind of thread in too much about the purpose of the exercise until actually after you've done it, right? Because I'd really rather get your feedback on what it brought up for you, how you experienced it, and what it kind of caused you to do and what it caused you to not do. Remember, remove judgment. We're just looking for data. We're not looking for the drama. Okay, so enjoy the exercise, and I look forward to hearing your response to it very, very soon. Take care.